I'm Dawn Reese, and this is Pageant Profile. I'm here with Mel Johnson from Los Angeles, casting director, now in Orlando, Florida. I'd like to welcome Mel Johnson.
Thank you. How are you?
Real good. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay today.
Good.
So far, so good.
So far. Well, that's good. I have a lot of questions to ask you. There's a lot of talent that I work with, and they ask me so many questions. First, how did you start in the business?
Well, I went to San Diego State University, where I have a degree, 2 degrees, in telecommunications and film and dramatic arts. After getting a degree in San Diego, I migrated to the most obvious choice, which would be Los Angeles, and I got a job as a carpenter on the back lot at Universal Studios. So I worked as a carpenter, stagehand, grip, and a prop person with the 5-year degree. But the main thing is I was finally working in the entertainment industry. And after working for about 2 years as a stagehand, grip, and prop man and all of that, I met a guy named Reuben Cannon, who was a casting director of renown in Los Angeles, and he asked me if I wanted to start earning a paycheck, and I said sure. Novel idea. And so I started to work with him as his casting assistant on a show called A Woman Called Moses, where I also was able to hire the extras on the show and work as his assistant. And that's how it all started about 18 years ago.
Oh, wow. What I'd like to know is, can I ask you any credits that you've done so I can tell some new potential talent?
Well,
There's a list.
maybe I should start from the back, going to the past. Well, the first show I worked as an assistant on A Woman Called Moses. I've been in Orlando, Florida for about 4.5 years, and some of the shows I've worked on in Orlando, a series would be Superboy, Super Force, Swamp Thing. We did 90 episodes of Divorce Court. Feature films I've had the occasion to work on would be Problem Child 2, recently The Matinee. I've done 2 movies for TV, Showtime and HBO. HBO, Somebody Has to Shoot the Picture, and Showtime, Cycle 4. And I've worked recently, in the last 8 months or so, I've done 40 commercials. So I'm really kind of branching out since I've been in this area. In Los Angeles, I worked on shows like Charles in Charge, The New Leave to Beaver. I worked on a pilot for a show called Murder, She Wrote, Outlaws, Street Hawk, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I was on staff at Universal for 8 years, so I've worked on a lot of shows in L.A.
Let me ask you this. Do you like L.A. or Orlando?
Do I like L.A. or Orlando?
Yes.
I like apples and I like oranges.
That's good.
So I appreciate L.A. for what it has given me, and the opportunity to work with some of the biggest names, from David Wolper, Stan Margulies. I also worked on a show called Roots 2 with Reuben Cannon. So I've enjoyed all of the opportunities L.A. gave to me, as well as it's a great city to go and work in the entertainment industry. It's one of the premier cities to do that. But I lived there 20 years, and 20 years is enough of L.A., I feel.
I lived there for 8. I know.
Yeah. So couldn't make it to 10.
I couldn't. Right.
So I do like Orlando because I have a chance to earn a living, a very good living here. And at the same time, the quality of life is somewhat different. At this point, Orlando is a nice base because I'm pretty close to Miami if I want any diversity, and I'm 2.5 hours from New York if I really want diversity.
Right.
So I like I say, it's apples and oranges. You can't even compare the two. But you know, I like them both for what they all have to offer.
Let me ask, if talent is coming out of a small city and they really want to pursue the acting, where would you send them if they came to you to ask you a question?
To get information
on how to get more into acting. They want to get more into film work, and if they should go to L.A. or New York, what would you have them, coming from Mel Johnson?
Well, eventually, usually that is the hope, the dream of almost everyone working in it as an actor, is to eventually migrate to a place like Los Angeles or New York, because they are primary cities for doing work. I mean, a lot of people go to New York because it's a way to get good education, because they have great teachers there and great schools there, and they have a lot of theaters there. Eventually, if they want to do film, they'll migrate to a place like Los Angeles, because most of the film production is being done in Los Angeles. If it's not being done in LA, LA is still the base. A lot of projects that come to Orlando, or that would go to Texas or anywhere. They're still based in LA, so most of the production is in LA. Before they go there, I would suggest that they become as professional locally as they can, which means that they would get a good education, learn how to act before they migrate to a place like Los Angeles or New York, unless you're going to LA or New York specifically in mind that you're going to LA or New York to learn something. So get educated, try to learn as much as you can about the professionalism, about the business of acting, and then eventually, if you are going to be a success in the big scheme, you probably would go to LA. But main thing, remember that it's only a ticket away.
Right.
It's not like a lot of people ask me, well, I'm thinking about going to LA, what do you think? Well, I'm thinking about going to New York. I say, go. They said, but what, you think I'll be successful? I said, well, I don't know. But if you have a dream, if you have a hope of doing something in the big scheme of things, why not go?
Exactly.
And guess what? A ticket costs $300, $400 to get back. And believe me, if you leave a small city, you can come back. I mean, they don't lock the doors and say, okay, you've had your chance in this city.
Right.
You can't come back. So you go, you learn, you grow, you get the experience, and you bring it back if you have to. It's not being defeated. It's just I went, I learned, I gained some experience, and I came back.
That's great.
So what?
Yeah, they need to. That's great. Great information for them. Have you had a lot of funny stories in the business to ask? Well, I'm asking you, have you had a lot of funny stories that have happened? Anything funny and humorous?
Yeah, right now I'm just cracking up.
That's good, Mel. Don't make me start.
Funny stories. I mean, something. It happens all the time. It's not necessarily just funny stories. Just different things that happen in the course of a career. But I wouldn't say that they're funny stories. But it is nice to go to a movie, like when I went to see the movie Crying Game, and I see an actor, Forrest Whitaker, who is at the beginning of the movie, and he's doing great work, and going, my God, this is fantastic. Look at this man act, and then you realize that you hired him to do 2 lines in Charles in Charge. And so that's not a funny story, but it's gratifying for me to know that I was able to recognize talent from a very early period in a performer's life, and then have it vindicated. I can see it on the screen in big time that I was right, and this person is a good actor.
Good feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot.
Okay, what do you think about a lot of theater? People ask me all the time, how about theater to commercial training, and they want to pursue the film industry? Do you tell them to take theater classes, or what type of acting can get them in where they don't know, they're brand new in the business?
I'm a firm believer in working in theater, because that's how I started. If I were to show you my resume, I've been in about 25 plays as an actor, and I've also directed plays. And what it helped me to do is learn how to act. It also helped me in my business to learn how to recognize people who can act.
Right.
So it's all part of building an effective foundation to become an actor. Unfortunately, a lot of people in small markets, if they don't have good teachers or they don't have good theater situations, they become seminar or workshop actors, which means that someone will come in for a weekend and they will take a seminar, and they may take about 10 seminars. But you have to look on acting as learning how to play an instrument. The instrument happens to be your body and yourself.
Right.
And no one would take 10 weeks of seminars and expect to play on Carnegie Hall or get a job on in some concert hall. So get in theater, get as much training as you can, because see, the main thing, once you become an actor, I can do anything as a director or casting. I can tell you, if that actor talked to you, you'll be able to bring it down to and understand. It's just different mediums. You learn how to act first, and the best way to learn how to act, I personally feel, is in theater. Is in plays where you get that immediate feedback, where if you're doing something wrong, you don't have to wait, and a year later and look at it on the screen and go, God, that was horrible. The audience doesn't clap and go, oh God, that guy was great. You know right away.
Right.
So get theater, and then it's just a matter of being able to gauge yourself according to the medium that you're in. Because even when you get into film, there's different degrees of acting that's necessary. It's different techniques, I should say, not degrees, but different techniques that are utilized to communicate effectively in whatever medium that you're in, whether it be commercials acting for movies, and acting for movies is different than acting for TV. It's all...
See, people don't realize that. They think it's all the same. There's different tricks of the trades they have to learn.
It's different tricks of the trade. If you watch...
That's take one.